to another episode of Sean IRL. This is actually a older recording, something that I did a while back, maybe I think over a year and a half ago. This is my first time recording someone for a podcast. I had an idea that I wanted to do a podcast, but wasn't sure what it was going to be all about. At this time, this is when I was still living in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was interviewing a friend of mine, Stan Fraser. He owned a shop that was down the street from where I was working, and on this one, I'm actually sitting in the shop with him, where I'm interviewing him, and he is putting together an order. So you're going to hear hammering while we're talking. Hopefully that's not too annoying for you. The other thing is the audio isn't so great because the microphone that he had in front of him was turned down, so it didn't pick up his voice as well, and then the microphone in front of me picked up my voice a lot. Hopefully you can enjoy this despite the audio issues. Thank you again for coming back, and this is officially episode 6 of Sean in Real Life. Enjoy. So introduce yourself, man, your name, and I don't know, anything else you want people to know.
My name is Stanford Fraser. I'm known by Stan. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm living in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I specialize in custom jeans, cut and sew by measurements, and I'm a father, grandfather, and all that.
Okay. So when it comes to what you do, name of the company is Straight Stitch & Co. It's found in Charlotte, North Carolina, the Foundry. I'm new to Charlotte, so maybe you can help me out with this, because as I'm thinking about this, there's two things that I'm wondering about, and I'm just wondering, and if you know it or not, it's okay. But the Foundry, like why does the Foundry seem to be like such a historical spot?
No, I don't know. I've never even looked into the space other than it's always cool, and you know, I wanted to be somewhere uptown. I don't know as far as special. I'm quite sure with foundries, mostly foundries, they do a lot of metal work. But I don't know its significance to Charlotte.
Okay. You were just looking for a good space for your shop?
Yeah, I mean, something unique. Something that looked like, somebody built by hands and it wasn't as perfect. And you can see from the outside the building curves and it's leaning in some parts. You have stanchions that are leaning in the building, but they prop them up and they're using all original materials still. So I think, with the artist side of me, I think it definitely goes in well with what we're doing in here as well.
Okay. On the building, Straight Stitch & Co. But I know when I first met you, like we were talking about certain things. We were talking about New York. We talked about anarchy. How is that? How's those two brands? How do they marry each other? Like, how do they complement each other? Or how is it that they exist today between each other?
So with Straight Stitch & Company, there were so many people that were seeing the work, and it was like, man, those stitches are so straight. I was like, I don't know. But I think Straight Stitch & Company, definitely when I first started, was more accessories. And the whole, once you see the logo and everything, it kind of has a play on that old repro 60s look, the fonts and back in the days where people actually sewed on machines, and they actually, what's the word I'm looking for? They depended on these sewing machines to live, you know what I mean? So, they would be at the sewing machine sewing all day, all night. And when I think about that, it was like, for me, it was like, okay, bringing back that old time font, that look, that feel, and the simplicity in the name, Straight Stitch. You know what I mean? They didn't have technical names.
That's right.
You know, like they did back then. But so then what I wanted to do was, I just wanted to base that on all accessories while we still had the brand Anarchy Jeans.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say, like, it gives me a feeling. I guess I'll talk about you a little bit, and as far as what I know in the building. And I started out with that question about the foundry, and because I know I came down here one day, I was kind of like walking around and seeing, like, you know, the kind of shops that were in here, knowing that you were here. As a matter of fact, I did not really go out beyond Straight Stitch and Co. So, but standing in here, looking at the lighting, looking at the way this wooden wall here, and then you have like your products hanging up on the wall. It, you know, has like a lot of character. You know, really speaks to me. And I think it even helps that I'm sitting in here right now when you and Marielle are like working on an order. You know, to like, yeah, you know, you just get this feeling of you know, of quality work. You get this feeling of something really, you know, something being done, something coming out of here. Like right now, this our world is very digital. Yes. You know, and you're making a product that someone can feel. They can feel how it drapes on them, you know, and it's going to give them an emotional, you know, feeling. When you put this company together, like, what are some of the things that you want people to feel, you know, when they see your products, when they wear your items of clothing?
Well, as far as seeing it, and as far as seeing the product, now it's a total reflection on the way I view how, you know, I'd like my clothes to look. You know, when people see the product, you know, sometimes they're like, how did he come up with it? I'd love to be able to convey that to people, you know, because that's the most interesting part of it, just versus seeing the product done. Sometimes there's a story behind each piece, because sometimes it takes me a little while to come up with an idea. I'll tweak it. But there's almost a story behind every garment that's made here. And, you know, some of the, you know, like Marielle, she don't even know half of them, because I just don't say them. I sit in the closet and I look, and there's just so many little things that comes from it. And as far as the way I love when I hear clients come in and they say, man, I get so many compliments on my jeans. And I'm like, what? Like, jeans are, you know, like just jeans, you know? Your shirt and your jacket are usually the most loud and spoken items. But, you know, I think more so it's the way the jeans fit. And, you know, and the straight stitch, no pun. But I think that's what, you know, that's what drives me, and I'm happy that they're happy.
Yeah, I mean, jeans are. I understand what you're saying. Like, you know, maybe not a jacket or not a shirt with some like crazy logo on it or whatever. You know, like jeans are like an understated item. But I don't know. Like, I'm not as much into fashion as I'd say like you and Marielle are. The product does speak to me though. So when you do see a good product, you know, there's something about it, right? Like when you put on a good pair of jeans, it forms the basis, you know, of your outfit, right?
I mean, and you're right. I mean, today more so than yesterday. So yesterday, and I mean yesteryears, we used to buy 3 sizes,
right?
You know, 3 times our size, and you know, it didn't have shape. It was just a box. And it was droopy, and we had a belt that would choke the hell out of the waistband, and it was, you know, today it's more form-fitting, right? Now you can see the sculpture, you can see that person's body. Not saying that they're skin tight, but when we do a custom jean, you know, we're aiming to make the client, you know, give him something different, you know, something that he doesn't have in his closet, give him a reason for coming in and shopping with us, you know, whilst he's actually dictating how it looks, but we're definitely coercing him into the fit.
Yeah.
You know, something that would stand the test of time, or, you know, even kind of blend in with what's going on today. in keeping in mind of the client.
Okay. So since you got a custom jean, usually when you think of custom clothing, you're thinking about a customer that they're a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little bit more distinguished in what they're looking for. Or they have an idea in mind, right? And they want to stick to that. So I would say, as you as the expert, what is it about the products that you have or what you're able to offer someone that they should be looking out for? Like, what sort of little details make your product something that would attract them?
Well, with the custom aspect, it's always the fit.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the fit. Because a client could tell me they want red stitching all throughout the jean. I may coerce them to not do that, and I may give it to them in places that wouldn't seem so direct in your face.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fit. It's the fit. Like, I mean, I've been doing this for so long, and I can tell what in the industry. I know what people's eyes are drawn to because I make it, right? And with jeans, 9 times out of the 10, I don't care. With both male and female, it's the fit.
Okay.
Today, it's the fit.
Yeah, it's the fit. Okay.
Yesteryears, no way.
So salvage jean material was getting real popular at one point, and I think it might still be. Like, does that have anything to do with it? I mean, for you, does that stand out?
Well, salvage denim, it's depending on if it's treated or untreated. For me, the denim geek, it's a big part of, it's nostalgic for me because I remember wearing those old Levi's, getting one pair when I was in elementary, and I had that one pair for the whole year.
Yeah.
Right? And when I first got them, they were so crispy and they could almost stand up by themselves. And I think that's what I love about it. It just brings me back to those days where, and then subliminally, I mean, people were making those jeans, right? We didn't have a bunch of automated machines.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that it definitely, for me, it's not so much that, salvage denim. Salvage denim, yes, it's a definitely meticulously woven fabric. And by all means, it doesn't save you a bunch of money because of the width of the fabric, but it definitely, it gives you that. It's like I'm driving a Mercedes versus some people may take this wrong, but I'm driving a Mercedes instead of a Kia. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, this is top class stuff. So it kind of feeds into that ego. Yeah, man, I only wear nice stuff.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I got it. So I want to go so we're kind of talking about the shop. We're talking about where you're located, and I do want to get into where you can be found online and physically as well. But we're talking about that. So but you introduce yourself, Stan, if, here you are, you came from, whatever your background is, and we want to go into that a little bit, to now you're someone who is owning a business, right? Living that life, every day, getting out products, getting out orders, working custom orders. What was, I guess, firstly, why fashion? And then I'd also like to ask, as an extension of that question, why denim?
Fashion. Why fashion?
Yeah.
Growing up in New York, that's what it was all about. And my family, they're from the West Indies, and they fashion wasn't first on their list. So it was, here these pair of sneakers, maybe these 2 pairs of jeans and 3 shirts. You can switch those up and see you next year, right?
Right.
So it was. I won't say peer pressure. It was. I saw the other kids and things that were cool that I liked. I'm like, man, that's hard. I'd love to have that, and I just couldn't get it. So it was like that carrot to the donkey, right? You're always after that carrot, and just seeing that a human can make just seeing that my mother was actually making some of the things that we were obsessing over, that was my answer. And it was like, okay, so this is how you get it.
Right. So some people, that's a hobby, right? Like you see, making you see this creation, making something, being able to wear it. That's as far as it goes. But you took it into business.
Yeah, I think at first making stuff for myself, because that's what I did. I wasn't in it to sell anything. And that wasn't on my mind at all. It was solely so that I wouldn't be laughed at anymore, or so I could fit in. Mm-hmm. And then I started really taking a liking to some of the stuff the kids had on. Mm-hmm. I started getting a lot of compliments. Mm-hmm. And people would be like, "Man, yo, where you get that from? I like that. And once they got past the fact that it was homemade, and he still wanted it. It was like, what can I do? Mm-hmm. I messed up a bunch of stuff in the beginning. I got a couple of people that can say, yeah, he still owe me this. And, okay, I'll get you. All right, but it was a demand, and I'm talking. It was like a demand for what I was wearing. Like, yo, where you get it from? And that was the demand right there. Just asking me where I got it from.
Yeah. So is it kind of like seeing, maybe having this idea is firstly is something that you want to do for yourself, but then you're seeing like, hey, there's a demand, so there's a market for this. Like, wow, maybe you can turn this into something, So I think like for this podcast that I'm trying to put together, I want to focus on individuals with that sort of growth mindset, right? You look at an issue, you look at a goal, someplace that you want to get, and you really just apply your mind to it. You apply your mind and you follow along, in doing those things. So I know, you said, hey, you started this for yourselves, but then you saw that there was people that actually wanted this product. But I'm sure that in between there, from there to here, there were challenges that you had to get through and work through, and things that you had to obstacles you had to work around to get here. What were some of the biggest obstacles that were in your way, and what were some of the ways that you were able to work around them?
I think the biggest obstacle, one of the obstacles was me, myself. Mm-hmm. And really trying to figure out, who I was, and still growing and maturity, and just really trying to figure out what was I put on this earth to do, right? And that took a long time. The lack of knowledge. I stayed practicing, asking my mom for help. Mm-hmm. Finances definitely was a big issue. To start a clothing brand today, not like yesterday, you probably could make a hat and a shirt and somebody sees it and everybody wants it from you, and that's FUBU days, right? Yeah. Today, everybody's a do-it-yourselfer. So you have all the artists out here, that, you have so many people with money can start a brand at the drop of a dime. Your challenges, those are all your challenges today, and overcoming them. For me, it's just, honestly, I know who I am. I know who I am, right? And it's like, for me, knowing that, I know who I am, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's like, it's just like the light bulb thing, man. It just comes on, and it's like, this is it. So then there's obstacles there, but you don't see them. You run right into them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're running through this thing, and you're like, I'm gonna make it, but your eyes are closed, right? And you specialize in what you know, and that only thing that you know how to do, is what you specialize in, and you're running straight. And I mean, you're hitting some of these walls. You might bounce off. You might crash through some of them. And those are the obstacles that we really don't think about. Once you figure out who you are, it's like Neo. Once he figured out he was the one, he flew, man. He's telling him, "Yo, you can fly."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I take that movie literally, like really. Like once you find out, once you believe, man, because a lot of people, they don't believe. But once I started believing, it was like I started doing the matrix around those obstacles, man. It was just like, and some of them knocked me down. Some of them still knocking me down now, and I'm still learning about myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's, for me, one of the biggest sacrifices was no plan Bs.
Okay.
And when we talk about obstacles and plan Bs, you prepare for obstacles with plan Bs.
Okay.
Because some obstacles are there to shut you down. Some obstacles are, there just to slow you up. But I think with no obstacle, it kind of helps me notice who's around to help me get around those obstacles. You know what I'm saying?
I'm kind of curious about the plan B. What you were saying there. Like, do you need to always have a plan B? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying that you felt like you yourself personally did not have a plan B?
Well, for me, I don't have a plan B, but it's the safe way to be today. You know what I mean? It's like, don't put your eggs in all one basket type of mindset, but you have people that they don't put all their eggs in one basket. They have them scattered. And I thought that it's like an equalizer. You have so many different buttons on an equalizer. How can you push them all up fast at the same time?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I said, I'm just going to stick with this one button.
Right.
And I'm going to push and push.
Right.
I don't know how long before, my brand hits mainstream. Which, it maybe, I mean, for financial reasons, of course, that's important, but I just think that not having a plan B is why I'm here today.
Okay. Do or die sort of thing?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe.
I know who I am. I'm still learning about myself. The biggest questions was, what can you do? What is it that you specialize in? What is it?
Okay. I think it's kind of when I look at this, I mean, to me, again, something physical. So having a storefront, having the material in here to get this product out the door, I think is major. And I think that there are a lot of people that would stand back and look at you and say, well, like, man, that guy, Stan can do it because there was just something about him. And I think it was like really good that you even talked about like the Matrix and Neo, right? Because Neo was the one, right? Right. So he is the one. There's something special about it. And I like that movie too. And I don't take, I'm not going to take anything away from Neo. But some people don't even make an attempt, right, to follow their dreams because they think like, they're not the one, like what's so special about them. But instead, there are other individuals out here like yourself that look at those challenges in the face because maybe you cannot see all the obstacles, but you saw some of the obstacles. I mean, what did it take? I mean, is there something special about you that allowed you to say, hey, I'm looking at this goal and I'm just going to charge forward for it? Or, what really should the everyday man, take into account, so he can even try and attempt something like this?
I feel that I'm special. I feel I'm special because, and I'll keep going back to this. It's because I figured out what I'm supposed to be doing. I figured out who I was, because I speak to grown men, young men from ages 20 to 58, 68, and they not lost, but they just don't know what they should be doing. It's just like they'll be in a dead-end job. I don't know, I don't have any skills, but I feel that everyone has a skill. I feel that everyone has a duty on this earth, and figuring it out is what makes you special. Because then like Neo, he didn't know. until he really started believing and figuring himself out. Look what he did. He saved the world. You know what I mean? I mean, the obstacles that he overcame just by figuring that out. I think that makes a person special. I don't think you know exactly what you're doing. I think it's getting to that point of understanding who you are and your role. You know what I mean? That really helps you figure out, and that's what makes you special. Because now you're on the map. It's like, you know, now the light comes on over your head. He's present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sounds like you're saying that's the key, is that knowledge of yourself, right? And, you know, it's funny that you again using Neo in the Matrix, man, because there's this guy. His name is Tom Bilyeu. I think he is a good example because he talks about getting out of the Matrix. So you know, maybe that's a part of it, right? Getting out of the Matrix. You know, knowing who you are, where you stand, and what you want.
You're a vegetable. You know, you're plugged in, and it's a driving force for people who want to know, like, who am I? Why do I feel? Why, you know, just when I started actually sewing and stuff like that, everything came easy. It just felt right. It just felt like, oh, I'm on the floor. My mother used to call me cheap. I was using newspapers for pattern paper. You know, she's like, why don't you go buy some pattern paper? I'm like, man, I don't have the budget right now. And I mean, I made it work. And it was so fun.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? Like, I mean, everything. I do everything from start to end on my jeans. There's nothing outsourced. And people, they can't believe that today, because a lot of it takes a lot of work and tedious, you know, stuff that you have to focus on. And I'm like, that's just how you make a jean.
Yeah.
How you make the product from start to end. So, yeah.
Yeah, then I guess to take this a little bit outside of the avenue of textiles and jeans, it sounds like the two major themes we hit on right here that you were saying is, first you got to know yourself, right?
Yeah.
So know what you want to attack, what you want to put your skills into, your time into, to developing what skills need to be developed. And then the second thing you also said was just start, right?
That's it, man. You know, like, I didn't have a plan. You know, and some people say, yeah, you know, you should be way further than you are. And, you know, I get people telling me this from outside, right? And I'm like, well, you know, and I'm not bitter about it, but I look at some of these people and then, you know, so I'm like, well, okay, so what have you done? Tell me of your experiences. Like, well, I don't have that experience. I have a 9-to-5. And I'm like, okay, so you might not understand my perspective.
Right.
You know, it was just do it. It was just do it. And honestly, if you not even passionate on it like that, but if you just do it, I think it's like everything that you need will come.
I like that. I agree. So, what does, in the starting and then just doing it, what does success look like for Stan? What does success look like for Straight Stitch?
Well, I think I overcame one of the biggest, and I would go back. You're going to hear this over and over and over again. And I'll hold on to it because we tend to hold on to material things and label them as success. But I just felt that as a human, I was successful figuring out who I was. And everything there is just cruise control. I used to say, when I sold my first product, I was successful. Because to do that with no schooling, you know what I mean? And I didn't have, like, tons of guidance from my moms. It was, you know, Ma, how you do? You know, we on the phone sometimes. I'm in another state. This stitch and that stitch, and she's trying to explain, and we going back and forth. I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out. And, you know, so coming from there and selling your product, one time, just one time, I label that as success. I think because anything after that is business, right? You just need to know how to multiply that one product and sell it more than once to so-called be successful in someone else's eyes, because they would love to see you pull up in a Mercedes limousine, you're getting off your own plane and stuff like that. And I think that's business. That's just good business strategy. Success for me is, I created something and someone demanded it. And the transaction was made, and then it made them feel good.
Right. Yeah, you did that. Exactly. Right? Yeah.
I think I did that several times.
Yeah. But I think that's an important statement. Like you said, when you look at something and say, I did that, like my hand was on that. And so for myself here with this podcast, it kind of came out of trying to get into photography, right? And then picking up certain jobs and seeing those jobs come through and editing the images and delivering them and actually getting paid for that. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, that's right.
And I know exactly what you mean. I think that's good. And I think you also talked about something that's important as well. And this might be something that I don't know. Maybe Marielle might come in here. I might ask her a quick question on this, because I think sometimes it's generational. When you think about like social media, so I like social media, right? I love social media, but so I was asking you about what success is, and a lot of times people only tie success to material things, right? Followers. Yeah, so followers. Marielle's bringing out followers, and that's true, right? Followers, likes, that sort of, are they an influencer with whatever the end goal is? But creating something, bringing something to the world that wasn't there, bringing something that is your own creation, getting that satisfaction, from that, and then also. We talked about like the 9 to 5, right? And I don't want to call that person that's in that 9 to 5, as far as like stuck in the matrix, because some people that's okay for them, but you just have to know who you are. That goes back to like knowing who you are.
That's it.
Right? But a good definition of success, though, I think a lot of times doesn't go too much far beyond the recognition, as we talk about with social media, and then what social media likes to show, right? People like to show off the material things. And so I think a lot of times that other true definition of what success should be gets lost. I mean, do you agree with that, or have you been seeing that?
And everybody has their road, or they have their they have their road through life, and when they get to that finish line, they're like, yes, whatever they call that finish line. You know what I mean? That finish line for me was, like I said, that one product that was bought, demanded by a customer, a stranger, someone I didn't know. When that happened for me, it was successful.
Okay. If I'd feel great if this show was being heard by millions of people around the world. But let's just say like these microphones tapped into everybody's ear. All right. There's not one person in the world that would not hear this message. Like, what message would you have out there? Would you want to deliver?
Spend some time, man, and look at yourself. Look at what you've been doing for so many years. Really get to know who you are. Get to know your reasons for being here. And that frees up a lot, man. And most of the times it's right in front of your face, but we tend to go around it and think that we're, it's not that, people, like I said, it's the way we view, and everyone wants to be successful. Some people like, yeah, you know what? I'm good at my 9 to 5. I take care of my family. That's that. And that's fine. If they're happy with that, that's great. Some people, they strive for something different. But you know, before even thinking about striving for something different, know who you are. Know what type of gas you have. You know what I mean? Know what type of energy you have before you go on that trajectory. Because sometimes we think we have it because we don't know. You know, and you just blindly will go. And you're looking at the success rate. You're looking at the end results. You're not, you can't even see the road to that, to the end. But try to get in tune with who you are and, whatever skill set or whatever it is that you were born with. And I mean, some people learn things, but know that, master that, hone in on that, and the business will come. It's no rush. It will come.
Thank you, Stan. Appreciate that. Thank you for giving me the time, and I want to say that I'm so appreciative. I just want to introduce a little bit of how we first met. I appreciate that Stan, when he saw me standing outside of his storefront, right, that one time, waved me in, said, "Come on in," and we had like a great conversation, that very first night, and I said, okay, there's something special about this guy, and there's something special about the work that he's trying to do.
Man, I was just bored and wanted somebody to talk to, man. No, one of the biggest things that we do, we try to, it's not, we're not out here dragging people in the shop. Mm-hmm. The problem is people, they don't honestly get the full message standing outside. Mm-hmm. They don't know if they can come in. They don't know if it's retail, because today's retail don't look like this. Right. So I'm eagerly trying to convey the message to people about what we do. Not that it's going to make you buy something. No, I just want you to know that this is happening in America again. You know what I mean? Where we are making things. You know what I mean? And nothing's easy. But we sit in here and we go at it, and we want people to know that. So sitting outside with people trying to figure out, what is that place? What do they do? I see them making stuff, but really, what is it? Yeah. So we want people to come in, talk to us, and they'll get an understanding of who we are and what we do. Okay.
Well, where can people find you?
We are located 601 South Cedar Street, Suite 205E, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Do you encourage that they come down to visit you, or do you want them can they start out online?
No, you really need to come visit. Okay. You won't get the message if you went online. You really won't get the message.
Okay. All right, Stan. Thank you for your time. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for listening to episode 6 of Sean IRL. This audio recording wasn't the best, so I really appreciate you for making it all the way to the end. If you're hearing this, I really appreciate it. I promise that episode 7 will be a lot cleaner in the audio department. This one, again, as I said, I had to overcome some shortcomings, which was with myself actually having the microphone settings not where they needed to be. But next time, I promise, will be a lot better. Thank you for joining and listening to this episode. Please stay subscribed. More episodes to come.